Hello, hello, pineapplers, and welcome back to another episode of Wine Wednesdays. Cheers with Cassandra. Okay, let me set this up. Today we are going to be talking all about market research. Wine Wednesdays. Hello. Hi, Maggie. Market research. All right, just getting set up here. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we are talking about market research and actually how to do market research, not just for your content, but for your brand messaging and also how you communicate your services. So if you don't know, my name is Cassandra and you are tuning in to Wine Wednesdays with me, Cassandra. And if you are watching live, I'd love to know what your name is, where you're tuning in from, and what you are having as a drink. I am currently having red wine. Don't know the brand, but it's red and it's from Spain. So it's pretty good because most of the wine here in Spain is cheap and delicious. And slightly chilled. Very good. Also pairing it with water because I am a lightweight. Okay, so in today's Wine Wednesday, I wanted to talk about how you can actually approach market research in a way that isn't boring or even daunting to understand more about your brand message, what resonates with your ideal clients and what is resonating to attract the current clients that you have, and also how you can use market research for your content, not just when you're posting your content, what type of content you're posting, but creating content that actually leads clients or leads your audience members to actually convert them into paying clients. That is what we'll be going over today. So the first thing that I wanted to go over was how you actually conduct market research and the different types of market research that you can take advantage of. So there are a few different ways that you can actually approach market research. One is surveys. The other one is calls. You can do what we call guerrilla marketing, which is going into your social media channels and your platforms and actually conducting market research or seeing what is working in these platforms. For example, Instagram makes it super easy to even build in market research in a way that isn't like super abrasive and aggressive. You can build in market research into your social media strategy just by sharing things like polls, the questions, there are the multiple choice answers. Also, you can even use like slides, or you can also use the little widget, we call them widgets, I don't know what they're called, stickers, for the chat. So those are different ways that you can use guerrilla marketing for social media. And then also you can review your data. So looking at your data from social media, for example, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, because all of these platforms have market research data built in, then it makes it a lot easier to actually review the data and see what works and doesn't work. And then, of course, if you want to go into the more technical side, you can do your keyword research by using Google Search Console, Moz, or just like looking up information and seeing what sort of keywords people are using and searching for on the platform so that you can incorporate it into your content. So there are a few different ways to actually approach your market research. And there are 5 steps that we like to do. The first one is deciding what we want to use our market research for. So there are different ways. Sometimes we use our market research not just for our content, but we actually use it for our services. Understanding how our services are being perceived by our clients is a huge way that we can use market research information to either market to more of our ideal clients or find a way or like see if there's a gap. So when we did our market research calls with past clients, we saw that a few of the things that we were talking about in our services kind of made sense, but then there were things that our clients were bringing up that we didn't even realize really resonated with them, that now we know, okay, this is more of what we need to add in our services, and also what we need to say we help people with, because it is something that our clients are clearly looking for, and it's something that they find extremely useful. This also helps us figure out our brand message and how we can use that information to make sure that our brand message is actually resonating with the ideal clients that we want. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is to create a layout of where you will conduct your research. So you can actually use things like we said, surveys, social media. We have a specific document where we record all of our market research calls in. It's a Google Doc. It's a template that we have that we use. And then after going through that template, we highlight and not underline, but we highlight certain information and certain pieces of information from our market research calls to then take and go into our brand message and also our website copy. Because ultimately, the market research that we're going to be conducting is going to be used in our website copy. It's going to be used in our marketing strategy on social media, and it's also going to be used in how we present our content, because we really want to serve and talk to the people that, one, want to work with us, and two, are our ideal clients. Hi, Alicia. If you're watching live, let me know. Are you drinking anything? I am having red wine. Okay, so after the second step of creating a layout of how you're going to conduct your research, get creative with how you're going to actually do it. Of course, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go out there and actually ask people. It's kind of daunting to ask them. And of course, a lot of people may not respond. So there are different ways that you can get creative with it. You can offer I'm drinking an energy fizzy water thing. Awesome. Okay. So there are different ways that you can get creative with it. Some people offer the option of winning an Amazon gift card. Alicia also says, wine sounds great, but it's 10 a.m. Yes. Time zone things. So you can offer Amazon gift cards for people. You can offer a strategy session. You can also offer a free consultation, anything like that to get people to sign on to your survey or your market research document and actually fill it out. Another way is to incorporate it into your social media strategy. So now you're actually getting people to comment on certain things. For example, if you have a Facebook group, you can conduct a lot of market research in there. I wouldn't necessarily include all of the questions in your Facebook group, but maybe one day you pop in and you're just like, okay, what is your biggest struggle right now with your content or with whatever X thing that you are selling? People will comment. This is just a question, a fun question that you can ask the group to get engagement. But then from those answers, you can actually take certain ones that become repetitive and build it into your copy to see, okay, this is kind of what my ideal client is currently struggling with. This is what I want to target. This is how I want to talk to them because I know that they are currently having problems with this. So that's just a different way to get creative with how you do market research. It doesn't need to be the super boring thing of like when you think of telemarketers calling you and they're like, hey, do you have 5 minutes to talk to me and answer a few questions? Or when you're doing a support call and then they're asking you, okay, after this call, we have 5 short questions to ask you. It doesn't need to be like that. You can build it into your social media strategy. You can offer a giveaway or something to get people enticed, or you can honestly reach out to past clients and just ask them if they're willing to get on a 30-minute call with you or less, a 15-minute call with you, just to kind of get their feedback, see what they really liked, see where you can improve, and also just kind of ask them how else you can serve them, because I'm sure they have different ways, or maybe if they were a real ideal client, they'll continue to want to work with you, which has happened to us, where we talked to one of our past clients and they gave us ideas on how we can continue working together because they loved it so much, but they just weren't sure about the different offers that we were having that made sense to them. So now we know how to better package our services to actually match with the client journey. Okay, so another thing that you can do is analyze your data. So once you've analyzed data, this is basically how we analyze it. I'm reading this through one of our blog posts that we posted a few weeks ago about our 5-step market research process. So a few ways that you can analyze data is, one, see any repetitions in short or long form answers from your audience. You want to take all of that and put it into a separate document. This will help. I'm reading Alicia's comment. I've done that recently, and now I customize packages more than I used to. I don't know. Is that better for you, or is that worse? Do you prefer customizing packages, or do you have like at least a base template, and then you can like pick and choose and remove certain things? Because I think as long as you have some sort of a base package, and then you can kind of like customize a little bit, it makes it a lot easier. Let me know in the comments. Cheers to giving the client what they want. Exactly. I think I have a base, then pick and choose. Awesome. Yes, I think it saves so much time. And also, because it's saving you time, you know exactly what you're selling. And of course, you always want to get a client on a call or to meet them in person to have a client meeting. And then you can kind of see what they want. And because you know the base at least, you can actually talk about it more while you're like face to face with them, either virtually or in real life. And then it helps to close the sale because you know exactly what you are offering and it's super clear, and you are basically mirroring what they're saying they are worried and struggling with back to them. So you're talking their language, which is a form of copywriting, but if you're doing this in person, then you're doing it in person. And it's another sales strategy that can help close more clients, which of course then gives you more money and more profit. Woo! Okay, so again, checking repetitions in short or long form answers to see what people are really struggling with. Picking out specific words that were said multiple times. So I know, Alicia, you do wedding planning. So maybe when you're asking specific questions in market research, then certain words come up like stressed or overwhelmed or too many details. I'm pulling this from thin air because I'm not too sure what your clients are saying, but this is what I imagine couples are saying. Or they are saying things like whimsical or organic, or they want bright, something like that. And if you know kind of the types of clients that you really like, you can pick out certain words that they're saying, and you can build that into your website copy or into your social media strategy or into your content strategy to start saying more of those words, because now you know these are the types of clients that are looking for it. Or if you know that they are not saying specific words, or they're saying words that you don't really want, then you can start removing that from your website copy or how you present yourself, or like talk about your services or your message or anything. And then now you're deflecting away clients that just don't make sense, or they're not your ideal clients. So kind of seeing what words they use to describe like their dream wedding, for example, is super helpful, because then you can kind of see, okay, these are the types of clients that I really like, and these are the types of clients that I just don't really mesh with. Another one is understanding how people interact with your brand. So seeing if, they are following you a lot and like heavily on social media, if they're sending you messages, if they're reading specific content, all of that. Also, where they like to consume your content. I feel like this is a great question to ask people. I've asked people, okay, do they prefer blog posts or podcasts? Because at one point, the Quirky Pineapple Studio wanted to start a podcast. And then we were like, okay, first, before we actually start creating a podcast and recording episodes and all of this, we want to know how our ideal client actually consumes content and where they prefer to consume content. Most of the time, we saw that people actually still read blog posts, and we were like, yes, because we love writing blog posts, and that is like our jam. we saw that it was kind of a split between blog posts and podcasts. And some people actually said they like video content, but it needs to be short and snappy, something that they can consume immediately. They don't like actually like watching video content to learn how to do something just because they felt it was very slow. They would rather read through and see specific things highlighted in a blog post so that they can implement immediately and then go back. This was something that we found super helpful because it actually helped us kind of stay away from shiny object syndrome when we were like, oh, we're going to start a YouTube channel or we're going to do a podcast, because we saw that most people still consume blog posts, and there are different ways that we can do podcast style content like this Instagram live that we're going to repurpose into an IGTV or anything like that, or maybe even taking bits and pieces of this IG live and turning it into a blog post. Another thing is what they're looking for from you. So like I said, we got onto market research calls, and then we actually asked them, oh, is there anything else that we can do that could potentially help you? And we were honest. We were like, this feedback we may implement or we may not, depending on how it fits into our brand mission, who we are as a team, and if it makes sense for us in the long run. And that actually gave people it took the pressure off of them, because I think when you ask, okay, how else can I help you? Sometimes people think that you're immediately about to sell them, and sometimes they just don't want to be sold to. Especially if you're doing a market research call, it's just strictly for market research. It's not necessarily to pitch, unless you come in and kind of tell them ahead of time, hey, after this call, if I feel like there's a way that we can work together, I would like to share it. But if this is strictly for market research, purely just to get information from them about your brand and marketing and services and anything, then usually you wouldn't pitch after a market research call. So we were honest and we were like, hey, I'm not trying to pitch you, but I just want to know, is there anything else that you like that we offer? Or is there something that we don't currently offer that you would like us? And I was honest and I said, hey, just because you tell us this does not necessarily mean that we will create it. And if we don't create it, we can always refer you to other people who could actually offer something more aligned with what you're looking for. So this actually gave us so many good ideas. One of our clients gave us the idea to do a website copy refresh. So these are for past clients that have done a full website copywriting package with us, and they just want to refresh. And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think about this before? Because I always talk about how you need to refresh your website copy every 6 months to 1 year, but we didn't even actually offer a service for it. So now that she mentioned that, I followed up with a few other website copywriting clients, and they told us, hey, actually, this is something super helpful. I don't necessarily need a full rewrite, and I don't want to pay for a full rewrite because I just invested in one, but maybe a little refresh to see, okay, my message has changed a little bit, my packages have changed a little bit, my brand has changed, and I've grown into more of, who I want to be as a business owner. This makes total sense. So it helped us restructure a lot of our services, but not only restructure our services, but give us an idea of how to present them to future clients or to people who just find us online randomly, which is how our Use Your Voice Mastermind came into place, because a lot of our clients were asking for continuous support, but they didn't necessarily want to do it one-on-one. They wanted it in a group setting, and they wanted it at a lower price range. So we were like, hey, this could work. So that is basically how we learned to analyze the data. I would recommend taking all of the content or market research that you have, put it in a document, Google Doc, Word Doc, whatever, and then start going in and highlighting certain things that come up a lot in their answers, either that you wrote them down yourself or they answered themselves. And then also kind of make a list of, okay, ideas that you could start implementing that make sense with your brand, especially your brand message and the type of mission that you have. And then kind of throw away the ideas that just don't make sense. For example, we just had somebody come and message us about creating a podcast, and the idea is still there to create a podcast, and this person is asking us for it, but we don't really want to create a podcast. And at this moment, it doesn't make sense for our brand content, our marketing strategy to make a podcast. I think maybe in the future, it might be something that we bring up, but currently most of our clients are still looking for blog content, which is great because we love blog content. We want to create more blogs. We want to do more written content, things like that. Hello, Daniela. If you are joining, I think we have a few people joining us live now. Alicia said that she's drinking an energy fizzy water drink. Annie, I don't know if you're still here, but let me know what you're having below if you're drinking anything. I'm drinking red wine. And Daniela, if you are drinking something, it doesn't need to be alcoholic, honestly. It could be juice. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, also, if you all have any questions specifically for market research, comment them below and I will be happy to answer them. So Daniela says she's eating. Okay, that's fine too. What's a pineapple peach booch? What is a booch? Is this like a White Claw, like Smirnoff Ice type drink, or is it like a juice box? I am very interested. Okay, so back to market research. Oh, it's kombucha. Totally, yeah, kombucha. Didn't know that booch is... Okay, y'all, I don't know these things. I came home to the United States and everybody was like, White Claw is a thing. And I was like, what is White Claw? And they were like, it's like the Smirnoff Ice things, but like better. Booch is short. Definitely did not know that. Thank you for teaching me something new. Okay, so do you all do market research for your content or your business or your brand strategy? And if you have done market research, let me know what type of market research you did below and what you learned from it. I am going to walk you through, I'm going to show you all how I did my market research. Daniela says, yes, always. Okay, cool. How did you do your market research? And then also, how did you implement it into your brand messaging and also your website copy or your services or anything? I'm going to show you all a behind the scenes of what my market research looks like. If I can open it up in my Google Drive. So I have conducted a few different ways, a few different like types of market research. I've created surveys. I have done market research calls. I review social media data. I also review Google Analytics. And then from all of that information, I try and like put it all into one document and kind of analyze the data and then see what works and doesn't work. A lot of the times it really goes into, okay, what is my overall goal? I think with market research, you always need to set an overall goal and also different types of goals for the different data, like different types of data that you'll be collecting. So one of specifically is like services. One is for content. One is for brand message. One is for our client processes, anything like that. Daniela says surveys, interviews, and quantitative data. I've used it to validate a business idea or shape a marketing campaign. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. One time I didn't do enough market research when I created or to figure out how to redesign a website. Yeah, that's awesome too. I think user experience is also a good thing. I was just reading one of my friend's posts and she actually works in UX design and UX content or UI content, I think both. And she said that interviews may not be the best way to conduct market research for UX or UI design. It's usually more about looking at like heat maps for websites to see how people follow things and then kind of taking that data and building it into your design later on. If you want to follow her, her handle is at Veronica, I think it's veronica.avo. She is a content marketer or content strategist, and she does UX, UI design, and I think she's based in Mexico right now. Oh, yes. Daniela says Hotjar is a cool tool for that. Yeah, Hotjar is great. It shows you like different, I guess, areas in your website that are more hot than others. So you can kind of see where people are specifically clicking, where they're scrolling. This actually really helps for website copy, especially because if you want to use micro copy to put like certain things, for example, a recent study that I found was saying that the top right hand corner of your website is really, really popular. And this is where people will put like email newsletter subscription boxes, because this is found to be a hot spot on their website. Another thing is if you put a pop-up, you can kind of see how the pop-up is working with your audience, and if it is helping or if it's taking away. I have mixed thoughts about a pop-up. I don't like them, only because I find them very aggressive, especially on mobile. I find them like, if you can't close it on mobile, it actually takes away from the user experience. Okay, so let me show you all what my market research looked like. I'm gonna take you all off my little stand and flip the screen. Let me see. Okay, so I have this like 2019 market research call. I asked them 6 different questions, and then I went in and highlighted everything that I thought stood out to me and was really helpful. So for example, I think one that felt really, really helpful was, oh yes. So I asked for like additional feedback, things that not like weren't part of the questions. And actually, this was really, really helpful because one of our clients said that our systems were so well in place. They loved the operations and processes. They loved the Dosado systems. The client workflow systems and processes were very smooth. And then the repetitiveness of everything made it such an enjoyable user experience and client experience that I thought, oh, this is great. Daniela says she has a question before she has to go. How much or how long do you do your research? With surveys, I aim to get 100 to make a solid decision, but this can be challenging when resources are limited. Okay, so this is a great question. A lot of the times I try also to get around 50 to 100 people in my surveys, but because I have never necessarily invested money into ads or anything, it's kind of hard for me to reach that many people, only because, for example, the Quirky Pineapple Studios newsletter is not necessarily that large. I think we are at 150 people. Our Instagram following on the Quirky Pineapple Studios at like almost 1,000, but out of those 1,000, how many of those are actually engaged? So I think getting, I try, if I can't get 50, then I kind of just say 25 is okay. But then what I try to do is all those people who answered like really in depth and maybe weren't just answering like short little sentences or anything, I actually emailed them and asked them if they can get on a call. I found that calls help so much more. I'm able to get more information from them. And if it's a cold lead, then if they don't respond, because most of the time they don't, what I try and do is after they fill out the surveys, I put at the bottom, if you are willing to get on a strategy session or anything like that to just learn more. That's how I've done it, just because I don't have necessarily like an ads budget to get people to fill out the survey. So I try and do it like that. I don't know if that answers your question, but I have always found that when you talk to people one-on-one, it's a lot more helpful. Also, another thing is if people are like commenting on certain pieces of content, then what I do is I follow up with them and just ask, oh, what really resonated with you in that piece of content? I think you actually messaged or commented something on one of our posts, and I probably reached out and said, hey, what was the most helpful or what really resonated with you? Another person got tagged on one of our posts about market research, and then they actually what I did was I commented and asked them, hey, thanks for commenting. What part of this really resonated with you? And actually she said, oh, what I really took away from this post was the fact that I really had no idea where to start. And this actually helped me kind of put a system in place, which has been super helpful, because when I did the market research calls with past clients, I found out that most of our clients love the fact that we are so organized. And that is just something that I thought people liked, but I was like, oh, I didn't realize that it was like a selling point. And then because this person that I don't even know and I don't even think follows us, commented and said, oh, this gave us a process to follow, I was like, if this random person that was randomly tagged on our post said that, and then we had the market research calls, and then our past clients confirmed that, this is something that we can use as a unique selling point in our website copy, in how we pitch ourselves, in any type of market or anything that we post online. Annie says, got to go, but always happy to see and learn from you, Cassandra. Thanks for sharing. Of course. Bye, Annie. Enjoy your booch. Or your kombucha. I don't know. I can't say booch. It sounds so funny to me. So that is something that we found that is super helpful, which will then help us stand out online or in person. And now we know exactly what we need to focus on when we are selling, or when we're creating content, or when we're creating copy or sharing anything online or offline. Because those are the types of clients that we love working with. This is what we found. And those are the types of clients that also need us the most. So they are like our ideal client. So this is why market research, of course, is really helpful. If you could get on calls, way better. If you can't, see if you can like chat with them through Instagram DMs. This is something that we've all also done, where we reach out to somebody and we were like, hey, we wanted to ask you a few questions. If you can't get on a call, that's totally fine. Can we just send a few voice notes back and forth? Please take your time. And then sometimes it takes them a while, but if you send a reminder, most people will get back to you, which is always helpful. And then we just listen to the voice notes and take notes, and then put it into our little document that we created. So yeah, that is basically how market research is super important, and also why you need to do it. It's very helpful to build your brand message around it, and it also can help you understand and reaffirm certain things that you think might be working and might be selling, be like the selling point of why your clients are currently working with you. Does anybody have any questions on market research so far? How we build it in? I know sometimes it seems like very annoying to ask people for feedback, but honestly, always ask your past clients. I think that's like the easiest thing to get, like the easiest people to get feedback from, because they've already worked with you. They know you. They want you to, of course, improve. And then another thing is, even if you don't have clients that you've currently worked with, maybe talk to brand ambassadors, people who constantly comment on your posts, but they aren't necessarily really ready to purchase from you yet. Maybe see, okay, why they haven't purchased from you, but they are so in love with your content or so in love with your brand. I think that is super, super helpful, and it gives you a different point of view on how you can maybe make your services or products or offers a little bit more accessible for people who aren't necessarily ready to work with you one-on-one, but ready to work with you on a smaller capacity, either with a digital product, a course, if they wanted to support you and they don't really care about working with marketing, or if they're not getting married, for example, maybe different ways that they can just be part of your community. And that could be either with stickers, or who knows, you all figure that out. But like, if this is something that they could help you and support you with in different ways besides just directly working with you. So yeah, if anybody has any questions or comments about market research, let me know in the comments below. I will be drinking my wine until you all comment. If nobody comments, then I will end this here and then continue cooking dinner, because like last week, I might be burning something, which I really hope not. So yeah. Let me know in the comments below if you have questions on market research. We have lots of free resources on Instagram. We have 2 blog posts up on the website for how to actually start market research, and a 5-step process to even conduct it. And then also we have questions that you can ask your ideal clients or your past clients or brand ambassadors to understand more about what resonates to them with your brand. We have tips on how to do social media guerrilla marketing. Honestly, a wealth of resources that are free on Instagram and our blog. All right, if nobody comments, I'm going to end it here. And also, if you are watching live or watching the replay, let me know, send me a DM if you have specific things that you would like me to cover for another Wine Wednesday. I have my own ideas for topics that we can cover, but if you all have specific questions that you want my opinion on, or how to approach something in messaging, copywriting, or content strategy, just send me a DM. I am happy to get your feedback on what you need help with, and then that will help me also create more resources for you to actually learn from us if you aren't ready to work with us, or if you are ready to work with us, then slide into the DMs and let me know and we can figure something out. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining Wine Wednesdays with Cassandra, and I will see you next week for another episode. Bye!